Hi, I wanted to do an updated brush tutorial. So this is a basic brush tutorial just to talk you through the brushes that I feel would be useful for everybody who likes putting makeup on to have. Obviously you can splash out and have lots more, but this is a basic one. I know some people tell me that they feel frightened of using brushes and they don't know how to use them. So hopefully this will just point you in the right direction and give you a good start. So some of the brushes I'm about to show you, I've just done a tutorial, so they do have a little bit of product on, but hopefully that won't matter. So first of all, the first brush that I think it's useful for everyone to have is some type of foundation brush. Even if you don't wear heavy foundation, and some people like doing it with their hands, I personally like buffing base product in with a brush, and this is my favourite brush with which to do it. So this is a Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. And you can see it's kind of rounded and the bristles are quite densely packed. All my brushes are cruelty-free and synthetic. And I just find that this is a really good tool for buffing in the product into your skin. And so you get to that point where it looks like a second skin and it's not obvious that you've got foundation on. But obviously if you're somebody who likes wearing a bit of a fuller coverage, you can still build it up with that. But that is a brush that I recommend to a lot of my friends and clients for a good base brush. When it comes to eyebrows, it's really good. I mean, you can use an old mascara wand. So if you're not someone who really generally puts a lot of product on your eyebrows, you can just clean out an old mascara wand. But I do always recommend brushing them through. If you're somebody who likes to put product on your eyebrows, like by way of a pomade or something like that, it's good to have something like this, which is a dual-ended brush, and one end's got like a slanted head on it to put the product on with, and the other end has got the spoolie for brushing it through. So that's going to be more important to some people than others. This brush is a Lilly Lolo brush. I get a lot of mine from Real Techniques. There's a website called Crown Brush UK as well, which do a lot of a whole brush range, a lot of dupes for some of the more famous brushes. So I know that MAC are quite popular. But sadly they're not a cruelty-free brand and their brushes are quite expensive as well. So Crown Brush is a really good site to go on and find all different types of things on there. Other makeup sites like Cult Beauty and things like that, they sell brushes. And I also own quite a lot of these, which are by Zoeva. I really like the rose gold look. So this one is, you can see it's just got like a little tiny sort of rounded head on it. This is number 230, this one, if you were interested. And this has got a few purposes. So you can use this brush to put on a liner. So if you've put on an eyeliner and you just want to smudge it, you could use that for that. You can also use it to put maybe shadow as an eyeliner and then going underneath your eyes. And something I also use this brush for is doing a bit of a highlight in the corner of my eyes there and up underneath the eyebrow arch there. So obviously if you're using it as a liner, you wouldn't then go and put it into a highlighter afterwards unless you're going to clean it in between. So it's just to demonstrate that type of brush has dual purposes, and depending on the products that you like using and how you like using them, there's different ways that it can be used. For putting on eye makeup, I think that 2 brushes as a minimum is the way to go. So you can see that I've got like a fluffy brush and then I've got like a flatter brush, which is good for picking up products, whether that's a cream product or a powder product. So this one, which is another Zoeva brush, this is good for just putting like the wash of colour over your lid. Because it's flat, it's good for picking up enough products. And then something like that, which is a Morphe brush, that's the brand, it's great for not only buffing out the colour that you've already put on and making sure you don't have any harsh edges, but you can also use that to pick up maybe a slightly darker colour and do a little bit of a contour. It is always nice to have a clean, fluffy brush. So I would recommend investing in a couple of those if you're going to be a bit more adventurous with the colours that you're going to be using on your eyes. And then moving on to powder, another Real Techniques face powder brush. That's really good for using either loose powder or compact powder that you can dust all over your face. Very simple, self-explanatory. And with bronzer, I've got a couple here that I like. One from Lottie London and another Real Techniques. You can see they're quite different shapes. And it comes down to personal preference, but with either one, you can do that figure of 3 to put your bronzer on, which is the simplest way and most fail-safe, foolproof way of putting on bronzer. So those are really, really nice. And then finally, the ones that I would recommend are concealer brushes. So you would want like a flat, sort of more pointed synthetic brush where you can put on for spot concealment for blemishes. So you want it to be able to be quite precise with where you place that. And then a fluffier brush, which you would use to buff out the concealer underneath your eyes. This is yet another Real Techniques one. And you can also use that to just buff out any edges on the concealer that you've put on, the spot concealer. So typically anything you'd put on blemishes with that would be a different consistency and thicker and heavier than a concealer you put under your eyes, because you're trying to brighten that area, and with spot concealment you're trying to conceal. So that is to buff under the eyes. So those are my basic essential brushes. I hope that's been useful. If you've got any questions, please let me know. I always like a chat. And if you want to see anything else, then give me a shout. Take care.